So my name is Paul Brown, and I took History Makers Training Level 1. History Makers was probably one of the weirdest, most eye-opening things that I have ever been to, because when I went to it, I wasn't really expecting what I got. And I loved every minute of it because I learned more in 3 days than I had in 4 years. There's a lot of things that God's called me to do in my life and a lot of things that He's asked me to do, and I was simply not prepared for them. And then I went into History Makers training and I got a lot of the techniques and a lot of the things that I use now that remind me every morning of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And they give me clarity and they allow me to be better prepared for the giants that I face every day. A lot of good things have come from this in ways that I didn't expect. From meeting people at History Makers who have gone on to become great clients, to everyday trainings that I use as disciplines now to keep my life going in the way that they're supposed to be going. I've had massive breakthrough in my company. I've had massive breakthrough in my own personal life. I've learned how to handle breakthrough, which I couldn't do before. I was a little bit too cocky for my own good, and Derek very quickly put me in my place about that one. And it was something that was needed. Experientially, I would say that there's nothing that I've learned in my lifetime as being a Christian that I could take home and apply as easily and as quickly as I did after I got home from History Makers. To those people who want to make a difference in their life, you need to take this course. The series of things that you're going to go through and the trainings that you're going to take and the way they're laid out and how they get deeper and deeper and deeper as you go, and you're not going to find it to be one of those one thing triggered in my head and this will be the one thing that changes my life forever. It's a 3-day development of who you are to who you can be. And it's something that you're never going to walk away from thinking, oh, I'm the same this way as I was yesterday. I'm the same today as I was yesterday. This is something that God grabs hold of you with and shakes. And all the dust and the stuff that you thought you were simply falls off, and what's left is what's real. So it's not a point of making you something different, it's more a point of revealing what you can be. I am a graduate of History Makers Academy.
Hi, my name is Batsarai Chada and I took History Makers Training Level 1. So the weekend at History Makers really brought into focus some amazing things. I obviously learned at an information level, at a knowledge level. There's that knowledge transfer, but also experientially. You're learning new stuff. I've been around. I went to seminary, and there's a lot of things that I learned at History Makers that I'd simply never heard before. Just took your mind and your level of thinking to a whole new level. And just putting yourself in this sort of crunch experience really brings out a lot of things that you don't typically see in your sort of day-to-day life. Pressure produces, squeezes out greatness, so to say. History Makers certainly does that, both in what you receive and what you're learning, but also what you experience. I now approach prayer with an understanding, not just of the fact that it's important to pray, and we all know that, but why, and how we can move things in our own lives and in the world around us, in the spheres of influence we've been called to through prayer. But also because of that mind shift change, my own professional life and what I did day to day just took on a whole new level. I had recently, just before History Makers, decided to leave the corporate world, 6-figure salary, the whole nine, left that to pursue music. Literally in the weeks after History Makers, I was performing in a number of places. I won GMA Canada, Gospel Music Association of Canada's talent showcase. I had 5 booked concerts, paid concerts. All of a sudden, because of the History Makers training, you're a lot more intentional. You're a lot more strategic and systematic about how I approach things. And because of that, the fruit of these shows, these concerts, just came about. History Makers, I think God really used History Makers as a catalyst for my own personal career. I think History Makers training differs in so many ways, not just in the knowledge that they're giving, the insights and the revelation that you're going to get, but because it seeps in, because you have to do some deep thinking. All that pressure really applied in a concentrated period of time really brings out both what's relevant to you in the training, but immediately applies it to your life, because you have to be asking yourself, is this worth it? You come out not just knowing something, but experiencing something. It sounds cliche, but your spiritual, your professional, your personal, your family life will never be the same. I am a graduate of History Makers Academy.
Hi, I'm Noelle Coppins, and I have just completed the Level 1 History Makers training program here in Oshawa. It was a life-changing experience, and I'm sure you're going to hear this from everyone, that this was a life-changing experience. It really is completely different than most of your training programs that you may have taken in the past, and it's a different level altogether of self-development and self-awareness. So many courses you can take and they leave you feeling great, and you leave that day and you have taken away maybe a little nugget that's lost in a couple of days. You can't even remember what was really the seminar training program was about. In this case, you leave a completely new individual. You're kind of recreated and much better than you were when you walked into the programs. They put you in what I consider a think tank to plunder your heart. They make it almost uncomfortable for you, but anything that's worth participating in should stretch you, and this particular program stretches you to actually to your limits. I've had the benefit of seeing Anthony Robbins live and so many motivational speakers, both secular as well as Christian. So Joyce Meyer Ministries, been to all of her speakers, seen Creflo Dollar. I've seen these wonderful, amazing presenters that have so much to give, and that you do, enjoy the moment, and it's wonderful. It's spiritual, or it's inspiring, and you come away, don't get me wrong, you come away feeling great. Does it last? Not always. You're not going to be able to ever get out what's best in you unless you are put in that situation. It's one of those things that it's hard to describe. It really must be experienced, but it's incredible. I kind of consider it the triathlon, or the Tough Mudder of training programs. With History Makers, we have this incredible opportunity to go really deep and have the same level, in my opinion, the same level, the same caliber of speaker that we have right in our own area, which just is mind-blowing that we have that right here in Durham region. I run a company in Oshawa of about 150 sales associates and staff, and I'm very fortunate to have had 25 years of sales experience behind me, so that I have had a very vast background of taking lots of training programs, lots of seminars, lots of motivational, inspiring programs, and I can honestly say that as great as some of the speakers have been that I've attended, and as wonderful as and equipping as those training programs have been, what is wonderful about History Makers is that they take what is of the secular world and the very best of what you can find in business, and apply that to a person's personal growth, a person's real inner being. It's transforming the person, but using the techniques and skills that so much of the motivational and business world have been able to use to bring out the best in their sales staff, or the best in their leadership, and then applying it to the everyday person. It's a mix of people that go to this program. You can be sitting beside a CEO of a company, and you can be sitting beside the guy who just came off the street. Everybody has value in this program, and everybody succeeds in this program. You all learn and win at the same time together. And I think what's really important at the end of the day is the investment you're making into yourself, because it's not a cost, it's an investment. If you had to pay for what you would evaluate as the worth and value of what you're taking away, I mean, you're talking about multiple zeros attached to the back of this program. So you're so very fortunate to have a price point that is actually available to the everyday consumer. I encourage you to sign up, make the investment. It will show you dividend returns over the years. I'm a graduate of History Makers Academy and very proud of it.